let's talk about, we're going to backtrack back to chapter 11 and talk about what makes certain chords special. So the first chord, and these are called dominant chords. So we have the dominant seventh chord. Now a dominant seventh chord is a major minor seventh chord, always, all right? It's going to be all this stuff. If you got what I just talked about, the rest of this stuff is going to be so easy. As long as you followed. If not, it may still be easy. All right, so a dominant seventh chord so if we're in the key of C major, it's going to start on the fifth step of the scale, right? So the Roman numeral is a 5, and it looks like this. It's a 7, 5, 7. So if we're in C major, it's going to start on G, all right? So the fifth. Here's C, so we've got C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So here's our G, and then we just stack it up snowman style. We don't have to add anything extra, so no accidentals, no nothing. This just naturally appears in the key signature, all right? So it's made up of major third, minor third, and another minor third, okay? So it's a major triad plus a minor 7, all right? And it sounds like this. So here's our scale. Here's C. And you hear this all the time, leading to 1. So 5, right? It's everywhere. Once you start doing analysis, you're going to find it littered everywhere. And even in some of the analysis you did previously, it's shown up and you didn't quite know what to do with it. So now you will. So yeah, it's a major triad plus a minor 7. Or if you want to count it from the 5th, it's a major triad plus a minor third, all right? So it's a major triad, and then you stick a minor third on top. Cool? I always find it easier to think about it in these terms rather than, you know, going back to the tonic and thinking about the minor 7th. So, yeah, basically, you can think about it 2 ways, all of these chords. Another way to write it out would be, here's your major triad, all right? So here's 5, and then here's your 7th, plus minor 7 equals 5, 7. All right? Pretty clear, all right? And 5 7s are always going to be the 5th of the chord, okay? So if we do another, say we change the key to A major, all right? So F sharp, 3 sharps, all right? So A is our tonic, so we have to find the 5th of A, which is going to be E, all right? So our chord is going to start on E, E, G, B, and it's G sharp, right? So here's our major chord, major triad, and then we add in a minor 7th, which just naturally fits in the key. You don't have to have any accidentals. Technically, I wouldn't even need this. It's just a courtesy. So plus a minor 7th is going to equal 5, 7. Right? That's all it is. Easy peasy. All right, so these minor seventh chords, or dominant seventh chords of any kind, not common in the Renaissance, started appearing in the Baroque era. It's something that's very common. You see some of it in the Baroque era, and then it gets really, really common in the classical era, like Mozart, Haydn, and then it becomes super insanely popular in the Romantic era, and we go even further than that into 9th and 11th and 13th. So, until you get to Wagner, and he's got chords that music theorists are still fighting over what they are. So that is how you construct a dominant seventh chord. In chapter 11, you are going to be required to do assignment 11.2 and 11.3. 11.2, you're just going to do 1 through 7, and then I'm going to have you skip down. And to get some more bass clef practice, I'm going to have you do 8 through 14 on 11.3. So let's do just a couple to get you set up. All right? So basically what they're going to do is they're going to give you the key, and they're going to tell you to make a 5/7, construct it. All right? Which is exactly what we just did. So we're going to cover these 2 chapters. All right, so if we're doing major keys, I'm going to do number 2 and 3 for you. So actually, all you have to do is 4 through 7, all right? So we're in the key of, this is number 2, 11.2. I'm not going to make you do 11.1 because it's kind of redundant. I think you guys can take the extra step of figuring out from the key first. So we're in the key of F major. And it even gives you the key signature, so you don't have to think about that. And then it wants you to find 5/7. So all you do is go up a 5th from F. So here's our F. We're going to pop up a 5th. That's C. All right? Since that's awfully high, well, that's all right. And it's all in root position, so don't worry about that. So here's C, E, G, and B flat. That is literally all you have to do. It is super easy. Just plug that in. You can do it an octave lower. I don't care where you put it on the staff, as long as it's in the right spots as far as notes. So let's do number 3. So this is 11.2, number 3. So we're given the key of E flat major. We've got 5/7 again. So we've got B flat, E flat, A flat. All right, all we have to do, go up a 5th from E flat. So here's our E flat, pop up a 5th. So we go to B flat, so our tonic is on B flat, and then we just snowman it. We don't need to add any accidentals. We don't need to do anything like that. It just sits perfectly. All right, so that's 11.2. Now 11.3 gets a little bit more complex because these are our minor keys, all right? And as we know, a dominant or large 5, right, capital 5, major chord does not naturally go into a minor key. When you have no accidentals, right? It's naturally sits as a minor chord. So we've got to fix that by raising the 3rd. So we do have to add an accidental where the 3rd is. So for example, we are given the key of, so this is 11.3. So it's a little bit trickier, but really not that hard. All right? Because the thing that we need to adjust is not the 7th, it's in the triad, which I know you guys are perfectly capable of doing. So, number 2 is the key of E flat minor, which has a whole lot of flats. So we've got E flat, 6 flats. So battle ends and down goes Charles' father. We don't have 7. All right, so we've got to figure out, here's E flat. Oh wait, I'm having you guys do the bass line. Never mind, I lied. This is number 9. So sorry, you guys. automatically went into treble clef. My violin brain taking over. All right, so let's do number 8, since they didn't do that one for you already. Ah, great, a lot less. All right, so we've got F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And you're in the key of F sharp minor. All right, so here's our F sharp down here. Little F sharp. We've got to pop up a 5th to C sharp. All right. And then we just make our snowman stack. So we've got C sharp, E, G sharp, and finally B. All right, so this is our stack. Now, I'm going to put these as a courtesy just to remind you guys. We have to make this into a major chord. All right, so this triad has to be major, which means that the major third has to be on the bottom and the minor third has to be on top. Right now we've got a minor chord and then the B is fine, that's a minor 7th. So what we're going to have to do is raise the third by a half step, right? So the E becomes sharp. So if we get rid of these courtesy sharps, this is what it's going to end up looking like. 5, 7. If we don't have this, if we just stay in the key signature, we're going to end up with this. And that's not a true dominant 7 because it's not major minor, right? So that would sound like this. Right? That's minor, minor, minor 7. Right? What we need is, so we just raise this up a half step to sharp, and then it becomes a true dominant 7, right? Let's do one more just to make sure you guys have it. And I'm actually not going to do any more tutorials on the other ones because it's exactly the same stuff. It's just dealing with other chords. So here's number 9. So we're in C minor. So we've got B flat, E flat, and A flat. And they want 5, 7. All right, so we have to jump up from C. So find C minor. The 5th up from that is G. All right, since this is going to get really high with ledger lines, I'm going to take this G and pop it down to this G, the lower G. All right, oops, got the 7. So we've got G, B, D, and F. Now we have to make it a major chord. Right now we've got a minor triad down here. So we're going to raise the third by a half step. So it was at B flat. Now we're going to raise it up to B natural. And we've got a major dominant 7th chord. All right? With a major triad on the bottom. So that is how that works. Now, let's go back. It's pretty simple as far as the homework goes. And the other assignments are going to be the same thing. It's just that you're going to be building up diminished 7th chords, and then you're going to build up other 7th chords that are not dominant or considered dominant 7th chords.